it was really time to start to take a look at really kind of everything. So we have done some work with Boston Consulting Group. We've done some work with all of our agency partners, and many of whom are in the room, and thank you for being here today, to take a look at the brand sort of top to bottom. So we're calling this, playing to win is our sort of internal motto. And of course, that's very similar to the McDonald's plan to win, but that worked out pretty well for them. So we're going with this, okay? But we really did like the word playing because, it is a game. I mean, it's all about a game. It's a contest every day, and that's one thing I love about this business. When you wake up in the morning, you get your scorecard before you get to the office. All you got to do is punch that button and you see if your sales are up or not. And that's really, at the end of the day, as marketers, we all want to drive. So, better check my watch, okay. Anyway, so we like the idea of playing to win. And plus, one of our philosophies, and please, nobody from Arby's, please don't make any weird noises when I say this, but we do want to have fun, okay? And we really try. It's not fun every day, but raise your hand if you have fun most days. Okay, now look how quickly the marketing team raised their hand. It took that treasury group a little while longer to get their arms up. But hey, the good news is there's plenty of cash for them to be counting, so I like that. But anyway, we do. I mean, life is short. I mean, things get complicated. There's a lot to deal with. So if you can't kind of treat it like a contest and have some fun and beat your competitors, then it's just not kind of worth doing. So anyway, playing to win. Anyway, the other thing that we really needed, frankly, with Arby's, and especially a system that had been down for a while, and through the worst recession in the history of fast food. I mean, fast food had never seen anything like this. We really needed to look at ourselves top to bottom. So we obviously started with strategic plan. Again, as I said, we used Boston Consulting Group to help us. We really needed a new brand positioning, really to know who we were. And we got a new agency partner, BBDO New York. Some of them are here. I can't believe they came. I hope they've got other business here, but I appreciate it anyway, because as you know how it goes in the agency business, I bet I'm paying for that trip. So anyway. See how we like to have fun? Yes. So anyway, we also needed to increase our national media presence. We were, and frankly still are, for a brand our size, the lowest level of national media. And, we believe in national media. Some of our franchisees would rather go the other way, but it's something that we definitely have to strike a balance with local versus national media. So we're working on that. We also have a focus on digital and social, and that may seem so, 5 minutes ago, but when I got to Arby's, and I think I have this in my slide later on, when I was doing my due diligence about joining the brand, we only had 42,000 people on Facebook, which was sort of an embarrassing number. And now we have a gigantic number, which I can't remember, but it'll be on the slide later. But we knew that we really needed to pump this part up, so we did. And then the other thing that Arby's had been known for in the past, but we had kind of gotten to a stale place, is the new product pipeline. And that is, just kind of the lifeblood of QSR, and it's the lifeblood of a lot of companies. And so we needed more innovation. We needed more new product news. We did partner with a group called Matson out in San Francisco to kind of help us with that process. But at the end of the day, the good news is it's been the people on our team who've come up with the best new products and are really the ones doing the work. So it's been a beautiful little way to use a consultant to get you started and then have your own team really rise to the top. It goes without saying, you got to have talent, everybody knows that, and a heightened consumer focus. So we looked at the whole thing. So we're looking at a brand-centric transformation. And a lot of this is going to sound like motherhood and apple pie to you guys, and that's okay, because at the end of the day, if you don't get the basics right, you're not going to get any place. And Arby's really does need, and it's in the middle of, I'd say, a transformation, and it must be brand-centric. And I'm not just saying that because we're looking at a marketing crowd here. So let's take a look at the market. The first thing is, what games are being played out there? I mean, that, again, back to the playing to win, back to having fun, back to being competitive. What are the games that are out there? What are the emotional spaces that are being used, exploited, grown in the QSR and sandwich arena. So what are those spaces out there that the consumer can get emotional about, can care about, and connect to a brand? And then what's the size of each of these emotional spaces? Some of them are very strong, but they're not big enough, for us to worry about. And then what is the perception and share of these emotional spaces for Arby's vis-a-vis the competition? So this is how we looked at the market, and our little shorthand for it is just what games are being played out there. And then when you look at our brand in particular, we have to ask ourselves, what games can we win? We know there's some games we'll never win at. But so we looked at the target positioning for the brand. We asked the consumer, which of these emotional spaces do we really have permission to play in? The good news, well, let me just go ahead and tell you this. I'm not going to tell you anything about our new brand positioning or our new advertising or anything like that, because there could be a competitor in the room. So I'm just going to talk about the process, okay? But anyway, the good news was there were 2 emotional spaces that are floating out among heavy fast food users right now that Arby's had definite permission to play in. And the good news was when we put those 2 emotional spaces together, it represented 43% of the heavy fast food users. So that's the size of the prize. So we had permission to play here. This place, I'm not going to tell you where we're going. And it was a prize big enough to go for, because 43% of heavy fast food users, that's a lot. And then here is the excellent news that really needed to be there, because our dollars are not big compared to our competitors, and that is that there was white space in this opportunity. When you graph these emotional spaces and graph it versus our share, our perception versus others, not only is the size big, not only will our consumers give us permission to play, but there was plenty of white space. So if we do this right, there is a hole in the market that we can occupy, and it will be a slightly different Arby's than it is today. So anyway, that's how we're looking at the brand transformation. And then, what are the rules and expectations of the game? And again, these 4 Ps are no surprise to the marketers in the room. Really nothing on this slide is, but we had to look at our foundational pieces, the people, the products, the promotion, the place. The people is about the service, especially in our restaurants, and the promotion is just how we project ourselves in every single way with the TV, the POP, and all that kind of thing. So, and the place is the facilities. So we had to try to understand, what are consumers asking for there. We had to do our own brand ladder and really look at ourselves closely to see where we could win, or where we were winning and where we needed to grow. And then, of course, tapping down our brand vision in a way that ourselves, our employees, and our franchisees could understand. So the plan, when we started putting the plan together, what we needed to say is, what does the brand need to do to win this game? And so we looked at the performance gaps in all those brand platforms. And you recall they're people, product, and promotion. The good news is, good news, bad news really, is we've got some room in all of those areas. But there's one place that the gap is the biggest and is going to be the hardest to close, and that's in facilities. So that one is a pretty big gap, and it will take longer to close. But the product gap is not too big, and we've got a great team working on it. The people gap is not too big, and we definitely have initiatives around that. And then just the whole promotion, and that's kind of what this whole presentation is about. But we know what our gaps are, we know what we think it takes to close them, and that's where the target initiatives, timelines, and metrics come in. And then at the end of the day, it's about execution. So again, motherhood and apple pie, but I've been reading recently, and so has the team, the book called Execution, which is it's been out there forever. And it really, at the end of the day, is motherhood and apple pie too, because at the end of the day, if you don't execute all these fabulous things, it doesn't really make any difference. So we're in our execution phase, and speed matters, and that's one reason I'm talking so fast. So.